Hey, Angry Ecologist here, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge some viewers who have had some great comments, like Sue and John. In particular, I want to spend some time talking about Sue's comment regarding the ground squirrels possibly using the yarrow's natural ability to repel insects for their own sake in adding that to their fur in order to fight off certain types of insects such as mites. And this struck a chord with me because a year or so ago, my trail cans were picking up ground squirrels almost entirely suffering from mange. I mean, some of them were nearly bald. It was really bad, and it was sad to see. And these animals are suffering an illness of that sort, or an affliction, if you'd rather call it that than an illness, while not having water, while being in an extreme heat, while not having natural food supplies. And I'm bringing them water in hopes of helping a little bit. And I'm getting all of this on camera. And it was a sad sight to see. This was when we were basically living in hell on earth, and the air was so smoky that I would get a headache within an hour of being out there, and the heat itself was unbearable. And add to that, no water and no native forage for these animals. I don't know how they live at all, much less fight off something like mange. And that's why what Sue mentioned really struck a chord with me. This is not something that I think occurs to us. No matter how much we think of ourselves as the most intelligent species and being superior, we're so far from living in the natural world that I'm not so sure that it would occur to us that by not having native plants there, there are a lot of advantages and services that the plants provide for these animals that we haven't even considered that go well beyond forage and shelter. We know that Native Americans and other indigenous cultures certainly understood the medicinal benefits of plants, and some people today are recognizing that as well. Why would it be so far fetched to think that native animals that have a millennia of time interacting with these plants, evolving alongside these plants, wouldn't also come to understand those sorts of benefits of the plants? On one hand, some people might be uncomfortable giving the animals that much credit. On the other hand, it seems absurd to think that they wouldn't figure it out over a certain period of time. I mean, I would say that the human race has a shorter relationship with these plants than these non human animals do. But in any case, the real point is to give credit to the viewers and thank you for your participation and your insightful comments, and to just take a moment to ponder all the possibilities that are out there and everything that is beyond what we take in on a daily basis. A friend of mine that I like to think of as a nature enthusiast, when I first mentioned the ground squirrel and yarrow interaction, and that the ground squirrel might, in fact, be in a beneficial relationship with the yarrow, said, well, why would that benefit the ground squirrel? Well, we don't have to know everything. That's how I feel about it. The concept that we humans have to be able to understand everything that's happening for it to, in fact, have a purpose or a benefit is pretty conceited. We don't know everything. We don't understand everything. In fact, the more disconnected we come from the natural world, the more we fill our minds with knowledge that we might be proud of, but really doesn't have much to do with the natural world, then it just seems obvious that we would lose touch with some of those things. And I thought, well, what if the ground squirrel doesn't even know that it is helping the plant? And the plant probably isn't conscious of helping the ground squirrel. Doesn't have to. Neither of them have to be aware of it. This is a relationship that developed over an extremely long time. That's what ecology is. That's what evolution is. We talk about humans evolving to do this or that. No, we didn't evolve. Evolution is a physical change that takes place over a long period of time, adapting to surroundings. No, humans manipulate, they use innovation and they use technology to change the situation, not to evolve to be able to survive a situation, but to change the situation. Again, the disconnectedness I was referring to earlier. We're hiding inside of our climate controlled buildings with food a refrigerator away, water a tap away, and comfort a thermostat away, while everything out in the wild is suffering from extreme conditions and lack of resources, lack of food, lack of water. And yet, we're here on our computers talking about how it is out there. Got to spend some time out there to actually understand what the situation is and appreciate what they're going through in order to survive. So thank you again, Sue, for bringing up potential medicinal purposes of plants. Not just the lack of water, not just the lack of shelter, not just the lack of habitat, not just the lack of food, but all the other benefits that have been lost because there are hardly any native plants left out there for the native animals to interact with.